So the first problem that we have consists of the sum, difference, and the power rule. So I've broken it up into 3 parts. We can do each one separately. So for number 1, which is 8x to the 5th, to derive that we would use the power rule, which would consist x to the n, and to derive the derivative of that is n times x to the n minus 1. Okay, and erase that real quick. So then this would become 40x to the 4th. Now we are going to use the same rule to do number 2. So we're going to bring the 10 down to multiply by 5, which becomes 50x. And remember to subtract 1, so this becomes 9 now. Then lastly, you're going to have negative 3 times 20, which is going to give you negative 60x, and to subtract 1 be negative 4. Now I left these spots blank so you could put in your addition or subtraction signs. This one would go here because it's the sum rule. This one here. And this is 2 negative, so this will become positive. So to clean that up a little bit, comes 40x to the 4th plus 50x to the 9th plus 60 over x to the 4th. Next problem consists of the product rule. Here we also have 2 components. And if you remember the product rule, it is f of x times g of x, and the derivative of that is f prime of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x. So we're going to say that f of x is 1 and g of x is 2. So first we're going to take the derivative of our 1. So the derivative of x squared is 2x. And then we're going to leave this one the same. So this becomes 3x minus 5x squared plus, now we're going to take the derivative of g. So this becomes 3 minus 10x times regular f, so x squared. And to clean this up a little bit, we're going to simplify everything. So this becomes 6x squared minus 10x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x cubed. And to simplify that a little more, the final answer becomes negative 20x cubed plus 9x squared. Our next problem is one for the quotient rule. Up right next to it, I have provided the quotient rule derivative. So f of x over g of x, the derivative of that becomes g of x times the derivative of f of x minus f of x times g prime of x all over g of x squared. So to make things a little easier on us, we're just going to first find the derivative of both f prime and g prime. So we're going to say that f equals 1, f of x is 1 and f of x is 2. So f prime would be 5 minus 6x squared. This is f prime of x. And g prime of x equals 8x. So a great way to remember the quotient rule is low d high minus high d low all over low squared. So basically what that means is we're going to take our bottom one and leave it the same. So low d high, which would be the derivative of f of x, which is 5 minus 6x squared, minus high, so we're going to put the regular f of x, d low, which becomes 8x. All over g of x squared. Okay, gonna minimize this a little. Okay, and you can simplify that if you want, but you can leave it just like this also. Lastly, we have our problem for the chain rule. So right here is the definition for it. So derivative of f of g of x is f prime, which is going to be this entire equation, the outside equation, and times g prime, and g of x is going to be this inside equation that we have here. So to make things a little easier on us, we're going to do like we did before and determine f prime and g prime first. So f prime of x is 2 times g of x, which is 5x squared minus 3x plus 2. And then g prime of x is equal to 10x minus 3. Okay, so now to find the entire chain rule, we're just going to combine everything. So in the place of f prime of g of x is going to be the answer that we got from here. So this becomes 2 times 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 times g prime of x is what we got here, so 10x minus 3. You can simplify this if you want to, but you do not necessarily have to, but this is the answer that you should get.